Jaylen Brown is on the team a lot because of none other than Amber Cox. Amber Cox came from Dallas. From my understanding, she got a great relationship with her. She just decided to give her a shot.
We've been going great together so far. Like, we've been pretty good. We got good energy on the court, and we encourage each other, and we play well together.
I called it. Just an hour after my last video, Indiana Fever officially waived Yvonne Ejim, the 33rd pick in the draft. Want to know what happened behind the scenes? This wasn't just a random cut. There are specific reasons the Fever made this move right before their weekend matchup, and it could completely change their rotation around Caitlin Clark. The roster puzzle is getting clearer, and I've got the inside breakdown of exactly why this happened. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. When the Fever grabbed Yvonne Ejim with the 33rd pick, they saw something special in her. At Gonzaga, Ejim was crushing it. She averaged 19.3 points and 9.1 rebounds her senior year. Those aren't just good numbers, they're elite production. The Fever looked at her and saw a player who could run the floor hard, finish at the rim, and bring constant energy. She was the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, and a key reason Gonzaga made it to the Elite Eight.
That was going to be cut. That was Yvonne Ejim and Jaylen Brown. Those are my two predictions. One of them is already off the board. Credibility is everything, man.
You know, it's all a learning process, so just being willing to learn and also just working hard every single day and being consistent.
The Fever scouts loved her motor. Ejim is one of those players who never stops moving, always fighting for rebounds and showing up in the right spots. She has this knack for finding space in the paint and making herself available. When you draft a player in the 3rd round, you're hoping they can contribute in specific ways, and Ejim checked those boxes for Indiana. They needed someone who could run the floor with Caitlin Clark and finish when she passed them the ball. But the WNBA isn't college basketball. The talent gap is massive. Players who dominated in college often struggle to find minutes in the W training camp, is where these harsh realities hit. From day one, Ejim was fighting an uphill battle. She showed flashes in practice, her rebounding translated right away, and she wasn't afraid to battle with the vets. But the speed of the game seemed to catch her off guard sometimes. By day 3, the coaching staff was pairing different lineups together, seeing who had chemistry. This is where things started going sideways for Ejim. While she was solid individually, other players were showing better connections with the core rotation. The coaches would run specific sets, and sometimes Ejim would be a step slow or in the wrong spot.
It's not easy going from the best of the best in high school to 5, 6, 7 minutes a game.
Definitely not being able to be on the court was hard. It was kind of like where do I go now?
We'll decide to pick her up, put her on a roster. But other than that, man, 28 minutes ago, the Indiana Fever stated we have waived for Yvonne Ejim. Thank you, Yvonne.
Not terrible mistakes, but in a league where roster spots are gold, every detail matters. Her preseason game told the real story. In 12 minutes of action, Ejim put up 6 points on 3 of 5 shooting. If you're just looking at the stats, you might think, that's pretty good for limited minutes. But the coaches were watching everything else: defensive rotations, screen setting, floor spacing. Was she in the right spots? Did she create advantages for others? The numbers weren't bad, but they weren't enough to make her essential. Meanwhile, Makayla Timpson was making Ejim's path even harder. Timpson, the 19th pick, built this immediate chemistry with Caitlin Clark that just jumped off the court. When they played together, Clark's game went to another level. Timpson seemed to know exactly where to be when Clark had the ball. She'd cut at the perfect moment or space the floor exactly how Clark needed. The coaches couldn't ignore it. When Timpson was on the floor, it opened everything up for Clark to do her thing. Jaylen Brown was also fighting for her spot, but she had something the coaches valued more than what Ejim brought. Brown showed better defensive versatility, able to guard multiple positions. In today's WNBA, that flexibility is golden.
I think just having that flexibility and fluidity on the court really helps me just, fit into any spot that I can and hopefully bring that advantage at any position.
As of right now, but Jaylen Brown is definitely still on the roster, still trying to prove herself. Who else we got on this list? Michaela Timpson and Yvonne Ejim.
The coaches could envision specific matchups where Brown would be valuable, while Ejim's role overlapped too much with players they were already committed to keeping. Then comes the brutal business side. Teams have to make tough cuts right before the season starts. The Fever needed to shape their rotation around their franchise cornerstone in Clark. It's not just about keeping the best individual players, it's about building a cohesive unit where everyone's skills complement each other. The Fever looked at their roster and asked, who helps Caitlin Clark succeed? Who fits with our veterans? Who fills a specific need? So why did they waive Ejim? It wasn't about her talent. She's clearly a good basketball player with WNBA potential, but the Fever needed specific skills that aligned with their game plan centered around Clark.
That's when they running this motion offense stuff. When Aaliyah Boston is not on the floor, that opens the floor up for Caitlin Clark to do her thing, to dish, read and react.
I would say, just keeping the spacing on the floor. If I don't know what I'm doing, just be in the right spacing so other people can, open up the things that we're looking for on offense.
They needed shooters to space the floor, defenders who could switch, and veterans who could steady the ship when things get rough. Ejim was caught in the numbers game. Her specific skills weren't quite what they needed right now. The fan reactions to her getting cut show how much respect she earned in her short time. One fan wrote, "Go be great, the future is bright for you. Just know it, once a Fever girl, always a Fever girl." That's not the kind of comment you leave for someone who didn't make an impression. Ejim connected with fans through her work ethic and energy. They saw what she brought to practice every day. Ejim's story isn't unusual in the WNBA. With only 12 roster spots per team, countless talented players get cut every year. Some go overseas to develop their game. Others wait for injuries to create openings. A few never get another shot. For Ejim, this isn't the end. It's just a detour.
Yeah, just being a sponge, soaking everything up that I can, learning from the people out there, the people that I'm playing with, and just making the time that I can on the court with them.
Boom, another player has bit the dust. That is forward Yvonne Ejim, man. Now, she was drafted 33 overall.
At 22, she has plenty of time to refine her game and find a team that needs exactly what she offers. The Fever are shaping their team completely around Caitlin Clark now. They're keeping players who make Clark better, and Ejim just didn't fit that puzzle. It's all about creating the perfect environment for their star rookie to shine. For Ejim, this isn't the end. She's only 22. She could easily go overseas, work on her game, and come back stronger. Some players need that development time before finding their WNBA home. But here's what's interesting. Jaylen Brown might be next on the cutting block. The Fever still need to trim their roster before opening night. Keep your eyes on their final moves this weekend.